Hello young writers. Today I'd like to talk to you about being the best possible writer you can be. In order to be a good writer, one needs to carry a writer's notebook with them wherever they go, because you don't know when inspiration might deliver you a wonderful idea, and that's why you need your writer's notebook in order to be able to write that down. Another thing we need to do as writers is to be readers. You can't be a writer unless you are a reader. That's a lesson I learned many years ago. The other thing that I have to remember is the types of books that I'm reading, books that make me think, books that inspire me, books that make me wonder what's possible for my own writing. Today I'd like to share with you 3 books that I believe inspire me to be a better writer because of the way that they introduce the story. In other words, the lead of the story. The first one I'd like to share with you is a very famous book called The Iron Man by Ted Hughes, which is this book. I love the way that Ted introduces the character of the Iron Man at the start of the story. Listen to these words. The Iron Man came to the top of the cliff. How far had he walked? Nobody knows. Where had he come from? Nobody knows. How was he made? Nobody knows. Taller than a house, the Iron Man stood at the top of the cliff, on the very brink, in the darkness. The wild wind sang through his iron fingers. His great iron head, shaped like a dustbin, but as big as a bedroom, slowly turned to the right, slowly turned to the left. His iron ears turned this way, that way. He was hearing the sea. His eyes, like headlamps, glowed white, then red, then infrared, searching the sea. Never before had the Iron Man seen the sea. He swayed in the strong wind that pressed against his back. He swayed forward on the brink of the high cliff. And his right foot, his enormous iron right foot, lifted up, out, into space, and the Iron Man stepped forward off the cliff into nothingness. I love the way that Ted Hughes makes me wonder what's going to happen next. There's this curiosity that comes from the way that he has introduced the character of the Iron Man. I also have a vision in my head of what he looks like because of the very, very rich description that Ted has given me. So that inspires me, that informs my writing too, that I need to do the sorts of things that Ted Hughes has done as a writer. The second book that I want to share with you is called Rain Dance by Kathy Applegate and Dee Huxley. I've had this book for many years now. I just love the way that the authors start the story here too, in a different way. They begin, everything is quiet, everything is still. It hasn't rained for 2 whole years. We wait and wait and wait until we are no longer sure what we are waiting for and whether it will ever come. The thing I like about the way that the authors started this particular story is the use of the word wait. They don't just mention it once, they mention it 3 times. 3 times to emphasize how long they've been waiting. And there's that really heavy sentence, it hasn't rained for 2 whole years. I start to wonder, how have they survived this long without rainfall? I love that everything is quiet, everything is still. That repetition of the word everything. So there's a lot here in a short space of text to make me become encouraged and curious to read on to find out what's more. And one of the things about a writer is that you need to use words that make the reader want to turn the next page, to find out what happens next. And this is what has happened in this book. And the final book that I'd like to share with you is John Boyne's Noah Barley Water Runs Away. In this very short introduction that John employs, we get the feeling that this young boy is leaving home very early in the morning. Listen to these words. Noah Barleywater left home in the early morning before the sun rose, before the dogs woke, before the dew stopped falling on the fields. So without saying Noah left home very early, John Boyne allows us as readers to work that out for ourselves with the use of before. Before the sun rose, before the dogs woke, before the dew stopped falling on the fields. I think this is a very clever way of allowing your readers to do some thinking of their own and build pictures in their mind. So when we go to write, it's really important in our notebooks that we practice this type of writing where we consider the readers that are going to read our words and we try to match their needs and expectations. Good luck, young writers. Good luck.